I am Dr.Rena Lyons, and after going through a divorce, I struggled with emotions until I learned about emotional intelligence. I became obsessed with learning more and applied my knowledge personally and professionally, leading to personal and professional growth. I founded REBX3 Consulting to help others understand the importance of EQ for growth and development. Here at REBX3, our goal is to help you master your emotions.
I'm on a journey right now with my discernment spiritually and of this world to understand and determine the role that she's playing in my life today. And I get goosebumps when I think of it. When I did my research and background on Dr. Lyons, I was very fascinated and I was compelled with her educational resumes and her ability to understand me at 28 years old. Her being, a coach and an expert in that field, we as men can hold on to things and not speak about it. And there's anger built behind it. And Dr. Lyons has made me feel so comfortable to share these experiences without being or feeling away or feeling embarrassed, and really feeling more empowered to tell more people about it. Like I said, God orders our steps and he puts people in our life for a reason. And I definitely think that she's a part of this journey.
Hi, I'm Kevin Williams, founder of Team Vision, a digital marketing and media company that was founded accidentally when I was on a journey of exploring the most effective ways to market. My marketing strategy was like most entrepreneurs, through radio ads, business cards, door hangers, billboards, and word of mouth. I quickly learned that traditional marketing, unlike digital marketing, cannot be measured. Our company's existence was built on growing businesses by effective marketing that can be measured. Remember, if you want to do something that's been done before, you can always hire a manager. If you want to do something that's never been done before, you can always hire a visionary.
Wendy was a game changer. When she sent me that press release, it just about brought me to tears, because a lot of times we as business owners, we don't focus on ourselves. And so with having to put that information together and giving it to her, Wendy just brought it to life, and it just really made me feel empowered. It really has opened me up. I'm able to really see now on paper the things that I have done to help people, the things that I can do to help even more people. So Team Vision is really helping me to hone in on those stories, those things that people need to hear on how I got started, on how things have happened in my life that has impacted me, but can help them also be better in what they're trying to do. So I just appreciate Wendy and Team Vision for helping me to tell my story.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on when and where you're going to be watching this live stream or catching the hashtag replay of this live stream. Greetings and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Kevin Williams, your host. These shows aim to educate, equip, and empower our audience. Today's guest is Dr. Rena Lyons, PhD. And that's the real PhD, not public high school diploma. That would be me. But PhD in business psychology and founder of REBX3 Consulting. Welcome, Dr. Lyons, to Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you and Team Vision for having me today and going on this EQ journey with me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dr. Lyons, before we ask those questions that the audience wanted to know as far as, the different type of pillars, and I know today we're going to be talking about the first pillar. I noticed in your commercial, you talked about using emotional intelligence for yourself as it relates to, dealing with a divorce. So if you don't mind, can you just kind of like take us a little bit back there and kind of share with us, a little bit more of, how did you use your own uh, coaching for yourself like you do with others versus, having to go to someone else?
Right. And Kevin, that is a great question. So, first, my divorce, the father, I have two beautiful children. My
Mhm.
oldest, Naya, my youngest, Ryan. I couldn't ask for anything more. They are my life to me. But going through that divorce didn't just impact me emotionally,
Mhm.
it impacted my children as well. So watching them be confused, watching them internalize anger and be mad at me and your father for going through this divorce was a lot. Not to mention at that time I had just transitioned to Texas. My job had just transferred me here to the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Mhm.
So it was a lot of changes, new schools, new state, and now mommy and daddy were leaving. So it was very hard because at that time we were a two income household.
Mhm.
Um, nice stable two income household. And in my head it was like, oh my God, how am I going to, go now down to a one income household while still providing for my children? How am I going to pay my bills? And then I'm not going to lie, I went into like a dark place in my head. I started doubting myself and I started doubting my abilities.
Mhm.
And then I just one day woke up and said, you know what, Rena, um, you've been doing all of this research on emotional intelligence, and you are right now stuck in that first pillar, which is being what we're going to discuss today, which is being self aware.
Mhm.
I was self-aware of my own actions. I was self-aware of the items that were the external factors that were triggering these emotions.
Mhm.
And I just said, hey, I can control my emotions.
Mhm.
And once I started working on myself and believing in myself and just really looking at the fundamental concepts of emotional intelligence, I said, I can't, I can't help others if I can't help myself. And then I
Mhm.
just woke up and I started just focusing on self. And one thing I realized, because we grow up and people say you shouldn't be selfish, don't be selfish, always do things for other people. I started to reflect and say, my glass has run over. I have no more to give. And again, if I can't help myself, if I can't bring myself out of that and control my own emotions, I really can't teach others or help organizations help their employees get those emotions in check. So I had to check myself. And
Mhm.
that's the best thing that I could have done, because since I've checked myself, things have gotten much better in my life. One thing about emotional intelligence that I like to tell people is IQ is something we're born with. It's something, we have. Either your IQ is high or it's low or it's average. With emotional intelligence, it's something that we're constantly working on. So when you think you've mastered a skill or you think you figured out what triggers your actions,
Mhm.
you live in a world with humans. So someone else is going to come through and you can be like, oh man, thought my emotions were in check. Perfect example today, Wellness Wednesday. Very excited. I was doing, working on my weekly post, and I was really like focusing on it. Within about an hour's time, my puppy dog, who's 80 pounds, came whimpering. His foot was red and swollen. Um,
Mhm.
so I had to jump on the phone, call the vet, and get them in there to, get checked in, praying that they would take my dog today and praying that they weren't going to charge me emergency last minute fees. And then on the other hand, I had to get my youngest daughter out to McKinney, Texas to get some braces put on. So it was just like, oh gosh, one thing
Mhm.
after another.
And my emotions were everywhere. Like my day, I'm an OCD person, so my organized schedule was no longer organized. So that threw me for a whirlwind. I got to get her here, get the dog here, get back, put a sheet in the car because I just washed my car. Now its hair is getting everywhere. And then, how long is it going to take for the braces? And then I had, business stuff that I needed to work on. So I had to take a moment and again, check my emotions and say, hey, close your eyes, breathe in and out. I did some meditation. I calmed myself down. I felt the stress just leaving my body. And I said, you got this. Things happen in life that are outside of our control. And once I got refocused and back on track, my day went great. So I tell people, even those who specialize in emotional intelligence have to get their emotions in check.
That's good. Well, today we're going to talk about the first pillar. And I want to take the first pillar and create two segments of it. So we're going to talk about the first 5 pillars today, and then next Wednesday we'll conclude with the last 5 pillars. And that way people can digest it slowly and really get the value from it. So let's talk about let's discuss the first pillar. What does it mean to be self-aware, and how does awareness relate to emotional intelligence?
So self-awareness refers to the ability to recognize and understand your own thoughts. So for example, today when I was just like, oh, I'm out of whack. Not only do you understand your own thoughts, you need to understand your emotions, your strengths, your weaknesses, and your values. And it involves just having that clear perception of who you are and being able to reflect on your behaviors and actions and how your behaviors and actions can bring a reaction out of someone else. So self-awareness to me and research has shown it's like it's the most fundamental of the pillars, because it's the most important aspect of emotional intelligence, because if you're not self-aware of who you are, you can't control other things. So when I'm looking at this, emotional intelligence, it just encompasses that ability in one to perceive, understand, manage, and use emotions effectively, both with yourself and with others. And so self-awareness is that foundation which the emotional intelligence is built on. It's being aware of who you are, your emotions, how they influence our actions. And it's the most vital step and the hardest step, because it's hard to self-reflect on yourself.
Okay. My second question, how does being self-aware impact our relationships with others? And then how does it improve our ability to understand and empathize with others?
This one's these are great questions, Kevin. So being self-aware greatly impacts our relationships with others. I can go back to my divorce situation. I, of course, in the beginning was like, it's all his fault. It's all his fault. It's all his fault. But then I had to become self-aware and accept that my actions may have led to things as well. So being self-aware helps you understand who you are better, which in turn enhances your ability to understand and empathize with others. So by recognizing your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, you become more sensitive to the experience and feelings of others. So when an individual develops a deeper understanding of their perspectives, they start to communicate more effectively. They respond to their needs. And that's again, it's not selfish, but it's responding to what your needs are. Because once you respond to your needs, then you can be more empathetic towards the needs of others. And it fosters like that more authentic and meaningful connections with others, leading to healthier, more satisfying relationships. So if you know what your triggers are and it comes at you and you can control those triggering actions that may, have that negative reaction to someone else,
Mm-hmm.
you can control it, which indeed allows for you to stop, pause, listen, really hear what that person is saying, understand them more, and sometimes put yourself in their shoes. Hey, if this is how they're feeling, let me try to empathize and put myself and transfer those emotions back. How would I feel if someone did what I did to this person? And once you can start doing that, you can have what's called a, more satisfying relationship with that person.
Okay. Which leads me to question 3. And that question for you is what are the strategies or practices that can help us become more self aware? And then how do these practices contribute to our emotional intelligence?
Oh, Kevin, there are several strategies and practices that can help us become more self aware. But for time of today and not taking up too much of your time, I'm just going to go over a few things. So, journaling. Journaling is an effective approach where you can reflect on your emotions, your experiences. I personally like to journal in the evening when my day is over, and
Why
I
why
journal.
why evening time versus morning time?
Some people journal in the morning,
No, I'm
but
talking about for you, like
I,
for you.
okay. So personally, I like to journal in the evening time because I talk about what has transpired that day, throughout my day. And
Mm-hmm.
I like to focus on the things that make me happy. So like, I love sitting in my yard, sitting in the backyard. I get to see a cardinal. I may see a blue jay and butterflies. So that makes me just so at peace and
Mm-hmm.
grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I focus on, I helped this person today. I reached this goal that I set for myself. So I like to really, really journal about that. Last night, my daughter came back from Chicago. Her smile on her face just melted me, even though I did not want to be at the airport that late at night.
Mm-hmm.
Just the smile of her excitement of being home, even though it was for the dogs, but still the way she walked in the house, it melted me. And it was like, this is why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I recently moved my parents down here to, my sister and I to the Dallas area.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad sitting out on his new patio and just smiling and being at peace with nature. And my mom just not stressing and worrying about things. And just that made me, those things make me happy. So when I journal in the evening, I find that when you write down things that have made you happy, your
Mm-hmm.
brain is
Mm-hmm.
relaxed. So you're not having it calms my thought process down when I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So it just calms me down, and I sleep peacefully, and I wake up just very happy and ready to go for the next day.
Mm.
Um, Another strategy that I try and I do encourage people to do is self-reflection. So like different self-reflection exercise, meditation. I talked about that earlier. When I was stressed today, I had to just stop. And it was like 15 seconds. Close my eyes, breathe in through my
Mm-hmm.
nose, out through my mouth, and all of that stress just melted out. You can do mindfulness practices. You can, promote attentiveness to, it helps you just focus on your own thoughts and your sensations.
Mm-hmm.
Seeking feedback from trusted individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I call it unpacking the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes at the end of the day, I will call my friends and say, hey, this situation happened. This is how I responded. Do you, or I'll call my mom. Do you believe did I respond wrong? How would you have responded in this situation? What could I have done differently? That's a question I love to ask myself. And I always ask my clients that as well. What could you have, if we had the power and the resources to go back in time and do it all over again, what would you do differently? And to me, when you can answer that question, hey, if I could go back, maybe I should not have been so snappy with the lady in the elevator. Maybe I shouldn't have honked my horn so hard at the person who cut me off in front. It helps me to empathize. And the reason I say this is because you never know what the other person is going through. So you never know, we can't tell. So your reactive actions could just add to a triggering factor with somebody else. And life is short, and stress and anxiety will kill you. So I like to pride myself and my clients on being more proactive rather than reactive. And this helps with that mindfulness and that, just controlling your internal emotions and your processes better, which makes your day go by a lot smoother.
Okay. And so how does emotional intelligence impact both our personal and professional success? And then can we develop and improve our EQ over a period of time?
So great question. And I think it was Elon Musk. I may have messed up his name. If he's
Elon
listening,
Musk.
please don't judge me. But he mentioned in an article a while ago that I could be the smartest person in this world. I could be the smartest person in this room. But if I don't know how to to communicate and get along with others, or as my aunt would say, if you don't know how to play well in the sandbox, then you're not going to be successful either in your personal or professional world, because we need that human impact. If you think back to COVID-19, we were all separated. Think of people's mental well-being and their health. People were depressed. Individuals who were diagnosed with early stages of dementia. Their research, and I really looked into this, but not having that social bond, that human connection, caused for that dementia, or that whatever disease they were going through to accelerate. So emotional intelligence plays a significant role in that personal and professional success. So if we're looking at it from a personal setting, it helps us build and maintain those strong relationships, resolving conflicts, fostering effective communication. And then in the workplace, it enhances those leadership abilities. So it enables you to be a better team person and improve on those decision-making skills. And to answer that last question is, and I tell people this, I'm also an adjunct professor, so I tell my students all the time, the good news is always that emotional intelligence can be developed and improved over time with intentional effort, practice, and learning from our experiences. So that goes back to that self-reflection, seeking feedback from others, working on your emotional management skills, working on being more proactive. So thinking ahead, that is like a huge thing. It's almost, it's like playing chess. What is going to be the next move that goes on here? And once you improve all of that, then you're on your way.
Okay. Which leads me to our last and final question, which is number 5, and we'll cover the remaining 5 next Wednesday. But in what ways can emotional intelligence help us manage our stress and regulate our emotions? And then part 2 of that is, how can it contribute to overall mental well-being?
Oh, this one is really great. And I actually, I talk about this more in depth in my 52 weeks emotional intelligence that's on my website. But emotional intelligence, it's just beneficial in managing stress and regulating those emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
looking at this first pillar of being self-aware, it allows you to recognize and acknowledge your emotions. It helps you navigate stressful situations more effectively. It helps you, once you have mastered it, you can develop strategies to just manage and regulate your emotions. You know how to bring down your blood pressure, like
Mm-hmm.
breathing. You know how to control those actions, your body language, and
Mm-hmm.
it significantly reduces the impact of stress and helps you to respond to stressful situations in a more constructive manner. So it promotes that empathy, understanding towards others, that social, so that helps with that social support and your overall mental well-being, which was the best question to answer, to ask on Well-Being Wednesday. So emotional intelligence is like, to me, and I'm totally obsessed with it, but it's a strategy, it's a concept that can be applied in any situation that you put out there. And it's just once you get it, you feel it, like your body, you're not stressed, which is great.
Okay. Well, again, Dr. Lyons, we're going to cover the remaining 5 questions next Wednesday as we still going into the first pillar. But for those of you that was probably thinking to yourself, she mentioned something about how I can receive emotional intelligence tips for the next 52 weeks, and you can by simply visiting Dr. Lyons' website, which is uh, Dr.RenaLyons.com, which is DRRENALYONS.com. So DrRenaLyons.com. You can subscribe to her 52 weeks emotional intelligence tip. And each week, you're going to get a tip to your email each week for the next 52 weeks. And Dr. Lyons spent a lot of time. Like, not only are you going to get the tip, but you're going to actually listen. She's going to share with you uh, via voice clip, week 1 emotional intelligence tip, and week 2, all the way up to, leading up to week 52. So be sure to go to Dr. Lyons' website. Again, that's DrRenaLyons.com. DrRenaLyons.com. And again, we'll be back next Wednesday for the remaining 5 emotional intelligence of the first pillar. So, Dr. Lyons, we will have you back on again next Wednesday. And again, it is very well being to be in your presence.
Thank you, Kevin.
Take care. Take
All
charge.
right.
I am Dr. Rena Lyons, and after going through a divorce, I struggled with emotions until I learned about emotional intelligence. I became obsessed with learning more and applied my knowledge personally and professionally, leading to personal and professional growth. I founded REBX3 Consulting to help others understand the importance of EQ for growth and development. Here at REBX3, our goal is to help you master your emotions.
How I grew up as a kid, in my household, I thought yelling at each other was normal. I just didn't have any tools. I had no tools. I reacted to everything. It spilled onto my daughter. It spilled onto relationships. Working with Dr. Lyons really helped me to understand a few things. Number one, how to show empathy. Listen more actively. So now when maybe my wife says something, I really process it now. Your EQ is worth more than your IQ. But I get it now. Do you think I get it?
I think you're getting it. I think
Okay.
you are getting it.
Am I a lot better than?
You are a lot